Don't believe the "just move on" myth. When life hits you with unexpected pain, whether it's heartbreak, failure, or loss, the world tells you to forget it, to keep going like it never happened. But the Stoics knew better. They didn't run from pain. They embraced it, transformed it, and found something deeper on the other side: peace, strength, and even joy. If you want to become truly unbreakable, not just surviving hardship, but using it as fuel, you need to do this one thing. Embrace amor fati, the love of your fate. This isn't about liking what happened. It's about learning to say yes to reality, even when it's brutal. This mindset doesn't make you weaker, it makes you unstoppable. In this video, we'll break down how Stoicism doesn't just teach you to cope with pain, it teaches you to grow from it. So, if you've ever felt stuck in regret or overwhelmed by what life throws your way, keep watching, because this might just change how you see everything. Number 1. Amor fati. Turning pain into power through Stoic acceptance. Imagine waking up tomorrow and everything that happens, good or bad, you accept it not with indifference, but with a quiet strength, even a strange kind of love. Not because you're naive or careless, but because you understand something deeper. Everything that happens is meant for you. That's the energy of amor fati, the Stoic practice of loving your fate. And I know, on the surface, that might sound like a motivational quote slapped onto a gym wall. But once you experience it, truly live it, something inside you shifts forever. We spend so much time fighting against life, wishing it looked different, felt easier, played out more in our favor. But Stoicism doesn't teach you to escape or deny pain. It teaches you to absorb it, own it, and then alchemize it into strength. That's what makes amor fati powerful. It's not about passive acceptance. It's about turning every punch life throws at you into the fuel for something greater. You lost your job? That's your moment to reset your path. Someone betrayed you? That's your chance to sharpen your character. Got your heart broken? That's the space where your inner strength is forged. Marcus Aurelius didn't just tolerate hardship, he welcomed it. A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. That wasn't just poetry. That was instruction. That was truth. Now think back. Has there ever been a moment in your life that felt like the end of the world at the time, but looking back, it set you on a new path? Maybe it was that breakup that pushed you to find yourself. Maybe that job rejection forced you to start your own thing. Maybe getting knocked down gave you the strength you didn't know you had. Amor fati means we don't wait for hindsight to feel grateful. We learn to live that wisdom in real time. And that's what makes Stoic acceptance so radical. It's not just a survival tactic. It's a creative force. So ask yourself this. What if the very thing you're resisting is the thing that's trying to build you? What if your pain isn't an obstacle, but a doorway? Number 2. Loving your fate. Why the Stoics didn't just endure, they embraced. Let's be honest. When most people hear the word acceptance, they imagine something weak, passive, like giving up. But the Stoics didn't just accept what happened to them, they loved it. Deeply, even joyfully. That's the true meaning of amor fati. It's not gritting your teeth and bearing it. It's smiling with the kind of clarity that says, this too, is mine. There's something strangely empowering about choosing to love the very thing that was supposed to break you. You shift from victim to warrior. Life no longer happens to you, it unfolds through you. That shift in mindset? That's everything. Epictetus was born a slave. He could have lived in bitterness. But he wrote, don't seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happen the way it happens. Then you will be happy. That's not just acceptance. That's mastery. Most of us don't live that way. We live with conditions. I'll be happy if. I'll be at peace when. The Stoics saw that as a trap. Because the truth is, if your peace depends on the outside world, you'll never have real peace. Now, think about the times you've resisted life the most. The times you said, this shouldn't have happened to me. Maybe it was a loss, a mistake, or a failure that you couldn't stop replaying in your head. And yet, maybe that very moment became the defining chapter in your life story. That thing you once hated, you now feel oddly grateful for. That's amor fati. It's the art of collapsing the space between suffering and meaning, of realizing you don't need to wait years to feel thankful. You can feel it now. You see, loving your fate doesn't mean you love pain for pain's sake. It means you trust life enough to know that nothing is wasted. That everything, every setback, every delay, every heartbreak, can serve you if you let it. It's easy to love fate when it gives you a raise, or a vacation, or a yes. But the real transformation happens when you learn to love the No, the failure, the silence. Because that's where your true self is formed. So here's the question. What would it feel like to stop arguing with reality? What kind of power would you unlock if you didn't just tolerate life's storms, but danced in the rain? Blank. Underscore, blank. Number 3. The hidden gift in every hardship. How Stoicism transforms suffering. Hardship doesn't ask for permission. It shows up unannounced, sits at your table, and demands everything. And in those moments, when the floor drops out and your chest tightens, it's hard to believe there's any kind of gift hiding inside the chaos. But the Stoics believed that every hardship carries a hidden gift, if we're willing to look deeper. Here's the catch though. The gift isn't always obvious. It's not wrapped in comfort or ease. Sometimes, it looks like silence when you're begging for answers. Sometimes, it's betrayal that reveals who you really are. Sometimes, it's losing everything only to discover what really matters. The Stoics didn't sugarcoat suffering. They stared it down, unblinking. But they also believed that within that suffering was the seed of growth. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." That wasn't just a nice quote for a coffee mug. That was hard-earned truth. Pain, if faced with wisdom, becomes transformation. You lose someone? You gain depth. You fall apart? You learn how to rebuild. Not in spite of the pain, but because of it. Let's bring this home. Think about the hardest season of your life. Maybe it was the death of someone you loved, a divorce, a business that failed, a time you felt completely alone. Now think about who you became because of it. Maybe stronger, wiser, softer in some ways, tougher in others. The person who went through that season is not the same person listening to this now. That's not coincidence. That's metamorphosis. But here's the twist. You didn't choose that pain. What you did choose, whether you realized it or not, was what you did with it. You got up, you kept going, you changed. And that's the secret the Stoics were trying to tell us. Suffering isn't the end, it's a doorway. Not one we would have walked through willingly, but one that led us somewhere truer. So now you have to wonder, what gift might still be hiding inside your current struggle? What lesson is life trying to whisper through this pain? What version of you is being born on the other side of what feels unbearable? Number 4. From regret to resilience. Stop wishing the past was different. You know what's one of the heaviest burdens a person can carry? Regret. And we all have it. Whether it's the career path we didn't take, the words we didn't say to someone we lost, or the time we let fear stop us from doing something bold. In those quiet moments, the mind plays a cruel game of, what if? What if I'd tried harder? What if I'd made a different choice? But here's the raw truth. No amount of overthinking, revisiting, or emotional punishment can change what has already happened. And that's where the Stoics drop their quiet bombshell. Stop wishing the past was different. It's over. You're not there anymore. And there's nothing to fix. According to Epictetus, it is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. The event happened. Your regret is born not from the event itself, but from how you're judging it today. We think if we replay it enough times in our heads, maybe we'll feel better. But all it does is drag us back. Imagine trying to drive forward while constantly looking in the rearview mirror. You're going to crash. Stoicism urges us to look forward, to reframe our mistakes and heartbreaks as chapters that built us. Resilience doesn't mean pretending the pain didn't happen. It means integrating it. It means waking up and saying, yes, that happened. But it's not who I am. It's part of my story, but not the whole book. Think about the mistakes you made when you were 20, or even just last year. The times you were reactive. The people you pushed away. The dreams you didn't chase. Now think about how those exact moments shaped your awareness, your maturity, your drive. You're stronger now, because you fell. That's not failure. That's forging. Now here's a question to sit with. If you had the chance to erase your biggest regret, would you still be the same person today? What if the thing you're most ashamed of is the very thing that woke you up? Number 5. The Stoic superpower. How Amor Fati builds unbreakable peace. We all want peace, but most of us chase it in the wrong direction. We think we'll finally feel calm when everything goes right. When we get the promotion, when people finally understand us, when the world stops throwing curveballs. But Stoicism flips that idea upside down and hands you a secret weapon. Amor Fati, the love of fate. Not just tolerating what happens, but loving it. That breakup? Love it. That rejection? Love it. That illness, failure, delay, embarrassment? Yes, even that. Love it. Because everything that happens is either an opportunity to grow stronger, or to discover that you already are. That's the Stoic superpower. And it's not theoretical. It's practice. It's looking at life and saying, this is mine. All of it. And I embrace it, not in spite of the pain, but because it's mine to carry. There's a deeper peace in that acceptance than in any external success. Why? Because nobody can take it from you. If your peace depends on the weather being sunny, the boss being in a good mood, or your plans going perfectly, you're fragile. But when your peace comes from within, from your full embrace of reality, you become unshakable. Think back to a time when things didn't go your way. Maybe you were younger, waiting on a college acceptance, a job callback, or even trying to save a relationship that ended anyway. In the moment, it felt like the universe was against you. But fast forward a few years, and you start to see the pattern. You see how that detour was necessary. The Stoics want us to stop asking why me, and start saying thank you. You might wonder, how'd I actually live like this? How'd I love something painful? The answer isn't to fake a smile or suppress your emotions. It's to stop labeling events as bad. They just are. And in that neutral space, you are free to respond, not react. That's where the power begins. Here's a question. What if nothing in your life has gone wrong, only differently than expected? And what if different is exactly what you needed? Blank. Blank. Number 6. How to face the storm. Accept, adapt, and advance like a true Stoic. Life will hit you hard. Sometimes it'll be a phone call in the middle of the night. Other times it's a quiet loneliness that creeps in without warning. A dream collapsing. A person walking away. A diagnosis. A betrayal. A shift so sudden it steals your breath. You don't get to choose when the storm arrives. But you do get to choose how you face it. This is the heart of Stoicism. You are not the storm, you are the sailor. You can't control the waves, but you can control your hands on the wheel. Accept, adapt, advance. The Stoics didn't believe in running from reality. They looked it square in the eye and said, let's go. They trained for adversity like a warrior trains for battle. Not to avoid hardship, but to meet it head on with clarity, courage, and control. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means saying, this is what it is. That's your starting line. From there, you adapt. You ask, what can I still do? And then you advance. Not because it's easy, but because standing still is not an option. We've all been in moments where life felt like too much. Maybe you've stood in your kitchen staring at bills you can't pay. Maybe you've sat in your car after a long day wondering if anyone truly sees you. Maybe you've broken down in silence because being strong all the time feels like a lie. But those moments are also the birthplaces of strength. You didn't break, you bent. You didn't quit, you paused. And then, somehow, you kept going. This is what makes Stoicism more than a philosophy, it's a survival skill. When the storm comes, and it will, it's not about resisting it. It's about adjusting your sails. Maybe the wind doesn't blow the way you wanted. That's okay. Change direction, not destination. Now ask yourself this. What would it look like if, the next time life goes sideways, you didn't panic, but pivoted? What if, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You asked, what is this trying to teach me? Life isn't about avoiding the storm. It's about learning how to stand in it without flinching. The Stoics never promised an easy life. But they gave us something far better. A way to thrive through every trial. A mindset that turns regret into wisdom, suffering into strength, and chaos into clarity. Amor Fati isn't just a concept. It's a challenge to love what happens because it happens, not despite it. Drop a Fire 100 in the comments if you've watched all the way through. It shows you're among the rare few who actually finish what they start. And if you're serious about building a mindset that no storm can shake, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Your transformation doesn't start when life gets easy. It starts right here, with how you choose to face what is.